Just let it start recording. And then I'll do the whole branding thing real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, I want that off. Okay. All right, you ready?
Ready.
Awesome. Let's do this number real quick, and then we'll go right into the music and all that jazz. Here we go. Guess what? We're back, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Hey guys, welcome back to Car Motivators Live. I'm one of your hosts, Chas Kelly, Director of Marketing for Car Motivators. And alongside me, as always, my tried and true best pal, Mr. Chris Spalding.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good day. As always, my friend Jazz.
Chris, how you been, man? Chris, you have traveled the world. I say the world. I'm being a little bit hyperbolic.
Lately, it's been the country. I have traveled the world, but lately, yeah, in the U.S.
Chris, you have traveled the country a lot lately. Tell us a little bit about your travels and your coaching experience so far in the past couple of months.
Been blessed to have traveled around and worked with some amazing teams, primarily on the East Coast the past 30 to 60 days. But man, I'll tell you, one of the biggest fun and challenges we've had is navigating the airlines. That's been a challenge in and of itself. I wish I could spend some coaching time with the airlines right now on how to handle some of these situations. It's been, but spending time with troops and helping them on the road and helping them create the success that they want for themselves in the car business is what I live for every day. Blessed to do so. So thanks for asking about that.
Absolutely, man. Well, guys, we're obviously here to serve the automotive industry. Obviously, we're here for you guys and to answer your questions. We have a really interesting, this is a really great topic because I feel like, it's August, right? It's the turning point of the year. July, obviously, being kind of the middle, right? And we're on the back half and we're looking, believe it or not, Q4 is right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
And that's whenever everyone starts to make the big push. And so we had a wonderful, we thank you so much for sending your questions. You could send them to any of the Car Motivators team members via LinkedIn or via email. And, we got this one question that I thought was really great, ironically, from a guy named Chris. Chris, thank you so much for submitting your question.
Yes,
I know, right? We have a lot of Chris's around here. My actual real name is Chris, and of course, right. Chris Spalding, Chris. And this Chris who submitted this LinkedIn question. And the LinkedIn question and our coaching question of the week is really cool. Something that we don't, I guess it's kind of the elephant in the room sometimes with management teams who are afraid to address problem managers or maybe problematic, scenarios. So the coaching question of the week, the coaching question of the week, is what is the difference between a bad sales manager and a great sales leader, right? That is really an interesting dynamic. Wow. So it's pretty strong question, right? And look, I'm sure there's a million ways we can answer this, but just right off the bat, I've got my thoughts in this, but I want to default really to you. I'm going to defer to the second half on this, Chris. Your question. I mean, look, take the reins on this, man. What's the difference between a bad sales manager and a great sales leader?
Well, it always comes back to, I think, the age question. Do you try to juggle results over people over results, or do they both matter equally? That becomes maybe a cultural question, how your dealership is structured, how the push comes from the top. But in general, if I were to speak to that, I would say a sales manager is someone who just makes people do things and yells, tells, and sells them how to get things done. But a true sales leader is going to point the right way, give people the tools they need. And everybody is different on the tools that they need. Give them the tools they need. Help people be accountable and help them create wins rather than just telling people, hey, this is the number, you have to get it done, see you later. I think that on the front is the easiest way to describe the difference. What do you think on that, Chaz?
Yeah, I believe it or not, I took some notes on this one because I was like, man, there's just so much to cover here. And we obviously can't get oh, excuse me, a little under the weather. We obviously can't get into everything, but there's a lot of things to cover, at least a couple of different bases to cover when it's talking about good versus bad management, good versus bad leadership. I think the first thing I noticed, the difference between a bad sales manager and a great sales leader is what their identity is in the vision and strategy of the company, right? Like, how do they perceive themselves and their team um, as a part of the bigger picture? Are they focusing on the broader picture, bigger scale, long term strategies that affect everybody, to the best of their ability? Or are they focused on more short-term goals and are kind of lacking clear vision for the future for everyone and is only kind of seeing things tunnel vision, like what's going on in their world and their lens, right? I
Mhm.
think another thing's to be, a big part of bad management and great leadership, or the fight, the struggle between, is communication, right? Like, a bad
Mhm.
manager is going to have very poor communication. They're going to be very unclear. They're going to be very sporadic, and it's almost like they're creating the rules as they go. Whereas, and you'll never get in front of it because you'll never be good enough because the rules are being created as they go. Versus a
Right.
great business leader, right, is going to communicate expectations clearly from the beginning, be very transparent, make sure that you have plenty of questions, answer whatever questions you have, and
Mhm.
empower their team to do the best of their ability. And team empowerment's a whole different thing in itself, but like,
Right.
you know, so communication, right? The vision of that person that's leading or managing, communication. And I would say the last thing that hits me is emotional intelligence, like being able to read the room, right? Like, I feel like bad managers don't really care about their people, right? They don't really care about the people as long as the work's getting done, right? And
Mhm.
I don't care who
Yeah.
we have to sacrifice as long as we get 80 cars out this month, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
a great sales leader is going to empower them to do that same volume, if not more, by understanding what they want to achieve
That's
and then
right.
empowering them to achieve their personal goals and thus achieve their company goals. What do
Mhm.
you? Well, I mean, so that's kind of
Well,
my synopsis on it. I could elaborate a lot more because I feel like this is a topic that could go on forever. But
we certainly
what are
could.
your thoughts on that?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, in that I'm in line with what you're saying. When look, if you push anybody hard enough, yeah, you'll get some results, but is that at the sacrifice of the long term objective? We have someone on our team named Reed Richards, who's an amazing. I call him, Robot Reed. So cool. He said, if you push people, all you're going to get is pushback. I call him that all the time, Robot Reed.
Well, it's funny.
If you
He
put
actually
people
has
under,
a. So it's funny. He actually has a Reed Richards, our Mister
oh, that's
Fantastic.
yeah,
He actually has a demonstration for that, right? Where he'll actually push you on the chest, and you'll resist it, and you'll be like, "You see, why did you resist it? I pushed you. You pushed back." And it's natural for us as people to push back when we've been pushed. So anyway, continue. I
yeah.
thought that was pretty cool.
Well, in general, typically people that have been sales leaders in organizations in this business have a driver type of mentality, have a driver type of social style, if you will. But that type of management system, management style, it just doesn't work for everybody. And
Right.
again, you can push some people, but some people you have to lead. Some people you have to walk alongside of them and help them a little bit. And I'm not saying it's okay to not push for results, because it definitely is. We are in a business that requires that we try to be better every month and grow year over year. So it's not an excuse to not try to set goals and conquer the goals, but the way you do it, if you look at the long term, and again, you set some goals and strategies, and you help your team figure out why and how, and walk the walk with them instead of just demanding. I think we've seen enough over the stores we work with the past several years that, man, it's amazing what true leaders can produce in some of these stores with the coaching type of mentality that goes along with walking with you instead of just yelling at you to do it.
Yeah, and I think there's also something to be said about how managers inspire their people, right? Or how they think motivation works with their people, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you find that a lot of bad managers, they rely on scare tactics, right? Like they rely on using fear and authority as like a motivating factor of, hey, if we don't get this done, I don't know, we might have to cut you loose. We might have to let you go if you can't do the
Right.
job,
Right.
and often that results in incredibly low morale. Like is happy coming to work. No one wants to work for that person, right? But like when you have a great sales leader, I think that person uses recognition, positive reinforcement, but more importantly, leading by example, like showing their folks how to go through the process of doing things,
Mm-hmm.
and then helping them when they need the most. Not every salesperson is going to knock a deal out the park, no matter how experienced they are or how green they are. A sales manager is there to help assist sign, sealing, and delivering that deal, right? Making it work for the client and also helping that salesperson out. I think that it says a lot about a sales leader when when they're doing that, but they kind of foster this sense of enthusiasm with it, right? Like I immediately think of like Mercedes of Music City's Phil Johnson. He's such a great sales manager. And the reason why is that he's so, I would say, like his bedside mannerisms are really good, right? Hey, 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 we're here to fix. Let us work for you. We're gonna get this done. We're gonna get this. We're gonna figure it out. Make sure it
Mm-hmm.
works best for you. He's real
Right.
good about putting the customers at ease, and then also walking through it internally with the sales rep or the sales professional, and saying, "Hey, so here's some things that you could have done better next time. Here's some things that when we go through this again, be mindful of these things. That way you can, instead of, me having to step in, you can just have the keys and know what to do here already,
Mm-hmm.
and he's good at teaching and inspiring that way versus like pulling a salesperson in and saying, "Hey, why would you do that? What on earth were you thinking?" Like, and I feel like we both have had our fair share of managers that have done that number, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like,
Absolutely.
what were you thinking there? I can't believe you. It's like it's so demoralizing. And
Right.
you know,
Right.
when you focus on the demeanor of the people and not so much like I agree with you. The results matter. The results matter because that's what drives business. But
Mm-hmm.
if we really want to get great results and also cultivate that winning culture, there has to be a balancing scale between the results versus empowering the people.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And a great way to help, as you mentioned, person from Music City there. I think how, one of the ideas that we like to show people is observational coaching. Observational coaching allows us to, I guess you could say, look at the tape. Look at the tape afterwards and say, hey, this is what we expect when we ran this play. This is what we expected would happen. Well, here's what actually happened. Now let's take a look at what we missed. Did we miss a tackle on this side? Did we miss a block on this side? And again, I was never a football player, but I know enough to know that looking at tape is really important. And I love that fact that observation coaching, along with really solid communication skills, allows you to take this and run it back and then prepare for having even better results continuously going forward. Because one time is great, but if you do something one time and you can't predict or re-engage and get those results again, was it really beneficial? Anybody can do something once, but can you do it consistently over and over again? And I love the fact that observational coaching allows a plan for helping that.
Yeah, and speaking to it as a guy who does coach high school football, couldn't agree more, man. I deal with it daily. Whether it's working with car motivators or going out to the field with my kiddos, man. Like, you ask what was going on in that assignment right there. Well, I thought I had this guy, this guy, this guy, and then you run the tape back and say, well, actually, it
Yeah.
turns out, you actually missed your assignment, but
Mm.
The observation of that missed assignment and then how to approach said missed assignment is kind of your opportunity to be either a bad manager or a great leader, right?
That's right.
How you approach that, it's almost like great managers are very proactive. Great managers, great leaders are very proactive people. But a lot of times we find out just how great a manager is with their people on the fly when they have to react to certain things. And
Yeah.
when you react, when you're a leader in the workplace and you're reacting to let's just say it's a troublesome situation, and this goes for all managers out there, you are going to be judged based on how you approach your employees from that situation on. Plain
Yeah.
and simple. So what kind of manager do you want to be? Do you want to be the guy that fixes the problem and then browbeats his people or her people? Or do you want to be the manager that recognizes the issue, puts the customer at ease, walks through it with the sales professional, teaches on the way, and uses their failure as a catalyst for success?
I think this is Chaz. This is great, and this wasn't even the topic for today, but I almost feel compelled here to share that. We have 4 types of coaching that we talk about on a regular basis with our clients, and conversations we give and seminars we give. The first being aspirational coaching, when you can help someone figure out what it is they want, what do they truly desire. The second being observational coaching. Now you get a chance to see what's happening, make some corrections on the way. The third one being metric coaching, where you're really going to dive in and look at the statistics, the analysis, and make some really better plans. And then finally, turnaround coaching. Turnaround coaching is going to allow you to really decide how you move forward from there. If corrections are made, you can get people to buy in or buy out, however it might be. But again, I would be remiss if I didn't mention those 4 types of coaching that we do. It's right into this conversation so well. And if people can adapt and utilize those 4, it helps to make you a better manager who will get results in the short term, but you'll create results in the long term as well. And I think that's what dealers are really looking for these days as the market becomes more and more challenging, right?
Yeah, in talking about the 4 ways of coaching, that the 4 different methods of coaching, it's so funny how we're doing that stuff every day and we don't even realize we're doing it, right? Like managers out there that are watching this, let's really be honest with ourselves. You have an opportunity to coach your people every single day in the best way possible. Chris kind of laid it out to you. I'm going to even put even further layman's terms here. Like, look, aspirational coaching. How are you empowering your people to be the best they can be and achieve their goals, right? Observational coaching. What are you seeing that they're not seeing, and how are you putting that in their arena, right? Metric coaching. That's, to me, that's looking at the tape. Let's go back and roll the tape back and see what happened, right? Let's go back and see the actual results of the play, right? Okay, you're not getting the results that you specifically need for a certain month or a certain criteria. What are some KPIs that we can hit on to get you back to good? And of course, turnaround coaching, right? Hey, you're not doing very well here. How can I help you get to back where this is sufficient performance? I mean, it's pretty simple, guys. Like, coaching is not for the faint of heart, but it can be done if you just put in the time and effort to know your people and to know your employees and to actually genuinely care about them. And I'll end on this note here. I think that is ultimately the biggest difference between a bad sales manager and a great sales leader is genuine care for their people. They would go to bat for them. They would go to war for them no matter what. You treat your sales team like family. And if you love your family, you love your sales team enough to empower them to do the right things, to teach them through their failures, and to encourage them to succeed at the highest level.
And keep in mind, coaching really is an adapted skill that you can study and you can practice, you can implement. It's not something you're either gifted with, you can or you can't. That's not true. If you are determined that you want to have coaching as part of your team, of course, reach out to us with questions you have or maybe how we can serve you. But even on the outside, it is a skill that you can decide to acquire, decide to implement, and decide to master. I really think I know that it's true.
Absolutely. Well, hey, look, Chris, I know we had to unpack a lot here in a very short amount of time, but like we could probably talk for hours on this topic. We probably put on a whole clinic on this stuff, a whole 2-day clinic on this topic. But guys, hey, look, car motivators, we're out here. We're coaching the car business, guys. Look, we are here for you. Hit us up, www.carmotivators.com. You can find us on socials, LinkedIn, Car Motivators. You can hit Sean up on Instagram, the Car Biz Coach. We are here to support you in any way, shape, or form, whether it's sales, service, BDC. We've got a coaching regimen for you, and it's customized for you to empower your team. So hit us up. This has been the coaching question of the week with Car Motivators Live. I'm your host, Chas Kelly. That's Chris Spalding. He's the senior variable ops guru. We will see you next time.
Yes, sir. Hey, guys, have questions to us? I'd answer anything. Thanks and have an awesome day, everyone.
Nice.
I think that was every time we do it, it's just, I don't know, there's just zero friction here. It just works out so perfectly, in my humble opinion, every time we do this.
Yeah, I think that was a good one. That's really, really great. Shoot, I feel like we can cut, if you want to, we can cut one more or try to.
We probably could. Yeah, you know what? I can't. Give me 1 second to check on my.
Let me end this one and just end this recording.